Can you carry me?
I'm going to touch myself and cast light.
Cyrus, no!
I trust your whiskey taste. I trust your judgment.
So it can speak. We get its tongue now.
I'm not sure there's been an occasion where any of us have been particularly stealthy.
It probably wouldn't have worked, but we should have tried. Why are we so stupid?
I think the lesson from this is that I need to stop listening to you guys.
And it's at this moment we realize the DM is an idiot. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 9th session of As Below, So Above. Last week, we were in the middle of this giant epic fight, as we can see, where there were all these screeching demons, these demonic crows, and as we ended last session, a very wrinkly, old-looking man, gnome, humanoid thing that only Cyrus and Samson saw as they are inside the swirling black smoke that is right over there. And yes, we ended last session with both Cyrus and Samson getting inside. And you guys are, let's see. Just need to make sure you're a certain distance. Okay. So you guys get into this cloud. You see this old man, and you are struck by a putrid smell. It is horrible. It is revolting, and I need you to both make a DC 10 con save, Samson and Cyrus.
Ah, I'm also still at disadvantage. Nice. Oh wait, no, that's on ability checks. That's not on saves.
Saves is 2, yeah. Saves is 2.
Okay.
Or sorry, 3. 2 is half speed.
It's okay.
Oh, but it's still a -5, so I still fail. That's an 8 from me.
I got a 12 altogether.
Nice. Samson has smelled much worse in his glory days of fighting and manages to soldier on through. Unfortunately, Cyrus, who was raised in a much more decadent environment than Samson, is not used to such horrid smells, and you gain the paralyzed condition for the next minute.
Geez.
Or until the smell recedes from the area you're in.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a good thing your turn comes last in combat. Things could change.
Yeah, this is great.
So that was the top of the round. And just a note as something I decided between last session and now, it seems like a jerk thing for you guys to be disadvantaged on the medicine checks for the entire, like anytime you get hit now, you're disadvantaged on medicine checks. And there's also nothing that happens at 4 because you don't have hit points. So when you get 4 levels of exhaustion, you have your hit points, but that means nothing to you guys. So what I'm going to do is say you aren't disadvantaged on the medicine checks until you get 4 levels of exhaustion. So feel free to swap that out in the conditions on your own personal sheets so you can remember. And that way the fourth exhaustion point actually matters. And also it's easier for you guys to remove exhaustion. Yeah.
Love that.
So with all that out of the way, it's the crow's turn, and they're going to continue making this screeching sound that is unholy and seems to be resonating this crystal as the wrinkly man is sucking energy out of it through his wrinkly phalanges. And with that, it is Vero's turn. Vero, you only see the swirling black smoke. You do not hear what's going on inside.
Oh, you're muted.
I
Clay,
can't
you're
hear you
muted on
there.
your end.
Sorry. Vero's just going to run straight in there.
Okay.
Now I think I have to use my action as movement. I was counting up the tiles. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I think I
you do.
don't quite reach it. So I think I'll use my action for movement and then just
Do you want
get
to
in
go here
No.
or here?
beside or behind if I can. If they're right on the edge, then beside.
With the squares therein is the squares you need to enter to just penetrate the fog. So if you're here, then you can't see inside, but when you're here, you can. So think of this
Okay.
plateau as the barrier.
Okay. And that's it, I guess.
Alrighty. That takes us to Hati. Hati, would you like to join Vero, who bravely charged into the fog?
I mean, I guess why not? Even though I could have probably done with some healing, but who needs heals?
Alright, I'll put you right there.
And is that, will I need to use my action to dash?
No, you still
or-
have an action, so you could
Ooh.
take shot. But Vero and Hati, please also make that save as you enter. Actually,
That was a Constitution save.
only Vero. Hati, you're just out of range.
Oh.
Yeah, just Constitution there, Clay. DC 10.
Fail.
You're petrified.
So
s-
do I still probably, I don't smell anything at all, or do I like?
You're not
just-
close enough. The just mechanically speaking, you need to be within 15
Wait,
feet of whatever it is.
Petrified or paralyzed? I thought you said paralyzed for Cyrus.
Oh, yes, I did, and that is correct. Petrified is wrong.
I
Paralyzed.
Because
appreciate not
petrified
being
is
turned to stone.
petrified is way worse. Yeah, no, you're paralyzed. You're paralyzed.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
The smell is paralyzing. It's that bad.
It is also petrifying.
It is
Yep.
also petrified.
Metaphorically.
Yeah,
It's
not
petrifying how
physically.
paralyzing the stench is.
Hmm.
Either
way, I'm
so-
stuck in place.
Yes. The reason I ask is, can I kind of get a gauge of where the smell is coming from?
If you had to guess based off Hati's knowledge of how smells are generated, you'd say the wrinkly old man.
That's exactly what I thought. So
Coming from
I'm gonna...
Arnold.
It's actually Fornold.
Oh boy.
Coming back for vengeance. I feel like in that case, as I intended to do, I am gonna take a hit at the wrinkly old man
Nice.
with
Range shot.
with my light crossbow.
Nice. Yeah, go ahead.
And this is still the same encounter.
Mhm.
Oof. That is gonna be a total of 9.
Unfortunately, you with all the noise and everything, you're just thrown off, and your bolt just seems to go a little bit shy of his head, missing him completely, unfortunately for you.
Nice.
Your shot does not seem to startle him as he continues his chanting ritual, sucking the energy out of the crystal. It's at this time you
Well-
notice that the crystal is starting to levitate out of its place in the ground. It's kind of sitting in this almost pedestal hole kind of business where there's a ring of rocks that dimple around, and it's just sitting in there, and it's starting to rise out, partially covering the wrinkly old man as it does so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I am very entranced by this crystal, and I'm like very I'm like
Just, yeah. And with
But
that,
I will end my turn.
everyone inside, paralyzed or not, see this as well, but everyone outside does not. Speaking of being outside of this, Jens, it's your turn.
All right, so I think on my last turn, I was thinking about my old friend Graham. I finally came up with his name, at least, and a few things about him. So
Yeah.
I am going to huddle down behind this rock, and I'm going to spend my action and my move just to have a really, really good think about, did I ever see him cast Fireball? What did he do?
You saw him cast Fireball, you saw what he did, but it's kind of like if you watched someone give a monologue in a language you have no idea how to speak.
That makes sense. I'm still going to have a think.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
can
get
definitely
it.
have a thing.
I'm gonna get it.
Give me a straight intelligence check.
Straight intelligence. All right.
Straight intelligence, yeah.
That is a 21.
21. You think you could try and recite what he said. You think you know the sounds and the gestures, but you used your whole turn to do this, so
I did. All right.
Yeah.
But I think I can do it. I can do
you
it.
think you
It's-
know
I
how
can
he
do
did it. I want the DM is choosing his words carefully.
I can do it.
Okay. Someone watching Houdini get punched in the stomach and then unlock himself from underwater. I could do it. I've seen it done before.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I've read some books too.
Speaking of
We
reading
believe
some
in you,
books,
Jens. Don't worry.
speaking of reading some books, it's Samson's turn.
Okay.
Samson, you are not paralyzed. You managed to hold your own against this wretched stench. And what would you like to do?
So the old man that you talked about seems to be the one in control of this whole ritual situation. Is that
It seems like the demons are doing his bidding, and he is the one that is going Emperor Palpatine on this thing, just kind of sucking the energy out of it.
okay? And he's within bonking range.
You'd have to move up to him, but you can move up and get within melee range easily this turn. You just have to step around the crystal.
Let's do that. Let's step around
Okay.
the crystal. And as I do so, I'm going to say, "You think you can paralyze my friends with your stench, you old wizard?"
Just remember those cloaks are actually in the air, so I displaced them just so we can put them on the map. So these guys are all in the air out of range right now. But yeah, you're right in melee range with this guy. You insult his honor, dignity, and everything about him, and roll to hit, please.
Nice. Uh, 11 plus 3 with the great club, so 14.
Yeah, that'll do it. You whack this guy. Need to find my
Nice.
dice bag. Okay. He seems to hold focus on whatever it is that this guy's doing, but roll damage, please.
4 altogether.
Four altogether. You give this guy a good bonking. Doesn't seem happy about it. Who would, honestly? But still definitely far away from any sort of death.
Nice.
And
And
with that,
I think I was still able to take the parry action, if I remember from the end of last
Yeah.
comp.
I don't.
I think that's what we had said, because I'd taken damage, but I wasn't hit. Right?
Yeah, and I don't think you got hit by the screaming demon when he came up to you. I think he missed that time. Like there was a point when you guys were over here, and I think one of them charged you, but I think he missed on that hit. So yeah, you can still parry.
Sick.
Okay, and with that, it takes us to Orpheus.
All right. My plan was to heal Hattie, but he has now run away.
Gotta go
Um,
fast.
What you gonna do?
And I don't think I can make it to him, because he was slightly ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna do my best and start running up to the place so I can see what's going on.
You can get right into that vacant square between Vero and Cyrus. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Boop. Please make a DC 10 Constitution save as you smell the bad smells.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Ooh, I got an 11.
After the minuses?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Ooh.
You have smelled much worse. You hung out with Deirdre enough, so
The twig roadkill stew.
you're used to things like twig roadkill stew, and yeah. So you get on in there. You still have your action because it only was your regular movement. So would you like to try and insult this wrinkly old man or shoot him? I don't want to assume you're a one-trick pony.
I'm gonna shoot him because I still need to think of a suitable insult.
His
Okay.
smell.
You
Everyone
can't just
inside.
say you smell.
Everyone inside the fog, aka everyone except Jens. The crystal is continuing to rise, and it is now mostly covered this individual. You can still see him and still take a shot, but he is well covered.
How big is this crystal?
Oh, it's a small-sized object.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking like about
And he's like
this
a-
big, but
Yeah, I described him as being like a gnome size or halfling size, so he's the same size category as this thing. And it's
okay,
kind of like
so it's
what you're noticing is it's sort of a teardrop shape, and the bulbous part of the teardrop is what was out, so it's getting narrower and narrower. So that's kind of like how it's coming out. So basically, like about 1/3 of this thing was above ground, and now 2/3 of this thing is above ground.
so wait, so it's an upside down teardrop shape that's coming out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So like
Cool.
the point would be at the bottom and then the bulb's at the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
If it's not a super clear shot to shoot him, I will just tell him that he smells.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds good. Yeah. So you insult him by saying you smell, and it is a wisdom save. Yeah. Oof. And he fails the wisdom save,
Hey.
Mm,
Okay.
but still maintains concentration.
That does 1 damage,
Oof.
and but he has disadvantage on his next attack roll.
mm.
Nice.
I have a feeling he's not going to attack.
You know you could have done better with your insult, but something about it still seems to really sting with this individual, and it kind of sticks with you and makes you wonder, like, why did that bug him so much? Like, I could have done so much better. I could have done so much more damage, but that seems to have bugged him a lot.
I'm just going to assume that no one's ever told him he smelled, so maybe he wasn't actually aware of it.
Fair enough.
And so I'm gonna like make a little mental note of that.
Nice.
And
Makes
that's
sense.
my turn.
And with that, one thing you do think is this smell, you're not being impaired by it, but it kind of reminds you of something. Your memory is a little foggy, but it's reminding you of something from your past. And with
Oh,
that, it is now
no.
Cyrus's turn.
Well, Cyrus is paralyzed,
Yeah,
so
That's
I'm
it.
incapacitated, which means I can't do anything.
yeah. And
So that's the end of my turn.
yeah, that's it. And that's the end of the round.
No.
And with that, the crystal fully ascends out of its hole, and the crystal is encrusted in a thick stone. As it does so, the energy that is being zapped ceases, and this guy changes form into something completely different than a shriveled old gnome or halfling, but much more like a humanoid. Is a very dashing, handsome fellow with bat wings and horns, and flies up into the air, and a tail. You'd recognize this probably as some kind of devil. Looks very humanoid for a devil. You guys don't really know your devil lore too well. Most of you don't know your devil lore too much. Your tiefling friend may or may not know a few things about devils. The swirling black smoke vanishes. The demons, the crow demons and the screaming demons also poof away. And you hear a maniacal, evil laugh coming from this individual, something along the lines of, or something along those lines. And Orpheus, it's at this moment that you recognize this character from your past. It's a friend. It was a good friend at one point, but due to different ideologies, you have not stayed in touch, and it's been a long time, and things did not end amicably, let's say.
Oh no.
You know them from far in your past, and yeah, what you choose to share with the party is going to be up to you. But the NPC says, to you, "Fools, you can't stop me. With this power, my plan is almost certainly complete." And the demon then looks directly at Orpheus and says, "Nice to see you've landed yourself somewhere swell," and then winks at you and flies off.
They just left?
They just left.
Did combat just end?
Combat just ended.
Oh
The bad
no.
guys succeeded in what they wanted to do.
And the crystal is gone?
The crystal is still there. It's just encrusted in stone, and it's sitting there. And then Bo comes. You see him running off in the distance, and is just going, "No!" But he's got little halfling legs, and he's an old man, so he's taken a while.
Wait, so all the demons that were left just left?
Just poofed.
They ran away? Or they just
Yeah,
disappeared?
they seem to have
It's
vanished.
all birds and this wizard dude, right?
Yeah, and then there was the screaming demon as well, Samson.
Oh, there was one there. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so in character, does this fog dissipate?
Yeah, as soon as the crystal got encrusted, everything went back to normal. The demons went away. The guy laughed maniacally, said his villain line, and then disappeared. Or friend line, actually, I should say. He's not your villain. He's your buddy. That's why he laughed the way he did.
I run up and look around at everyone. Did we win? What happened? What did I miss?
I think I bonked him and he got scared and ran away. It's my interpretation.
Oh,
Wasn't there just an old man there?
perfect.
Yeah, it was
You
just
saw-
it was just an old man.
No.
He didn't look like an old man when he left.
I just saw an old man.
Did he look like a scared old man because he was afraid of Samson?
He seemed a
Definitely.
little confident when he was leaving. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Riley,
you heard his laugh.
you would have saw like his exiting moment there because the fog vanished and then he ascended there. So you would have saw the demon guy ascend. You didn't see the old man, but you saw the demon. Or devil, I should say. I should use
What
my
about
proper
that-
parlance.
What about that laughing devil? What did he have to do with this?
He turned the crystal into stone.
What happens if we like tap the stone on the crystal? Is it just actual stone?
It feels like some sort of cobblestone encasing. It looks like it could be used as a decent weapon, but you probably couldn't lift it, but
I'm
You know,
I'm
Samson.
gonna try to pick it up.
Samson, you pick it up, and this feels like the heaviest club you've ever wielded. You think you could do some serious damage with this.
Just kind of hold it in my hands like lovingly and like think if I only bonked him with this, but then that wouldn't have made any sense because it didn't exist before. Damn it.
To clarify, is this crystal encased in stone now, or is it turned into stone?
It was encased in stone. Vera was paying very close attention, and it looks like the stone started at the point at the bottom and then kind of grew around it. Potentially the stone could be broken off, or maybe you need to take it somewhere. Maybe this is reversible, is what Vero
Right.
postulates.
Well, I better hold on to this. I think probably this is best if I just keep it safe. And while I'm at it, I mean, I could always hit people in the head with it. You know?
I mean, maybe we can ask
Yeah.
Bo what we can do with this. He
I'm
seems to know
thinking-
more about this object than we do.
I'm thinking we can just break this stone off. Now, I've seen folks break stone before. Why don't we just break this stone off the crystal and we'll have ourselves a regular old crystal on the inside?
It was not a regular old crystal. It was floating. It's a magical crystal. We should definitely get to keep this.
How do we ensure that the integrity of the club formation is maintained in this breaking off of the crystal process?
Well, if the crystal itself breaks, then we'll just fix that too.
All right. Well, as long as I get a new club out of this, then I suppose this crystal's somewhat important.
Cyrus is gonna start panicking a little with all this talk of destroying crystals, and he's gonna like look to see how close Bo is so that he can hopefully weigh in a little bit.
Bo was puffing and puffing his way over, but you see that Bo has stopped about 300 or so yards out and is catching his breath and
Fair
has now
enough.
started running again. He'll probably be there in another minute or so.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Everyone who was paralyzed is obviously not paralyzed anymore because it's only lasts for a minute. So you guys just kind of like, and then
Well, I assume the smell would have dissipated as well.
yes. As soon as the smell dissipated, it was fine. Yeah. So as soon as he flew away, you're like, oh, well, actually, once he shape changed, you noticed the smell went away, which was
Mm.
before he ascended.
So
'Cause
what
no
is
wings before.
specifically the old man disguise that came with a bad smell?
When the campaign's over, Emily, I'll show you the homebrew. It's quite hilarious.
You had to make it believable. You know,
Mhm.
it's always
Exactly.
the smell that gets you in disguises. You just don't smell right. So he had to make the smell just right.
If
Exactly.
you didn't
Quite
smell, you guys
impressive,
would have saw
really.
right through it.
Mhm.
Sure.
Speaking of seeing right through things, you guys also notice there's a hole in the ground here, and you can see through this hole, and it looks like there's some kind of weird sparkly yellowy light that's immersing from the hole. You can't quite see the bottom of it. It's opaque, but there's like these weird yellowy sparkles that come off of it.
Is this where the crystal came out of?
That's where the crystal was sitting, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyone
big is this
can
hole?
choose to do a check on it if they'd like. It's about 2 feet in diameter or so. Yeah.
Okay.
Trying
It
to
basically
picture-
stopped. Sorry?
Well, I'm just trying to picture what does this crystal rock hammer thing look like?
Kind of like a teardrop. So you can imagine like a club shape with a really wide change in radius as it goes up. So it's not like super thin and narrow, it's very wide. A couple of things about it, Samson. It is a versatile weapon. I can also write this down and send it to you later, but it's a versatile weapon, so you can hold it with one hand or two hand. But unlike other versatile weapons, the damage is the same. What changes is if you hit it with two hands, the opponent has to make a DC 12 strength save, and if they fail, they're stunned
Nice.
for the next round. It does 1d10 damage when you hit it with one or two hands. It is also very heavy, which means you always have to have it in at least one of your hands. You can't really put it on you because it's size small. It's simply too cumbersome. You basically just have to have it in a hand at all times, which I don't think would be a problem for Samson.
Yeah.
I will also.
Upon closer inspection, I think it's very important that the integrity of this object is maintained at all times, and there can be no tampering with it. So I'll just
It
keep-
looks like
There's a
the
magical crystal inside.
traditional walking stone of your people.
yes, what Yen said, that thing.
Well, I don't think Mr. Bo is going to be too happy if we let his little crystal turn to stone and then walk away with it. I
Is
think
he
this
s-
is the very thing he asked us not to do.
Was he specific about the importance of the crystal? His canyon
as-
was quiet
I
again.
think he said very important.
As these questions are being raised about what Bo said, he does finally arrive at the platform. I don't have a mini for him ready, so
We have to fight him now.
I know.
we have to find a mini for him. I'm gonna make him Forthold.
Thornhold sounds like a smelly name.
He was a
Hey.
very smelly guy.
Yes, Fornold was the smelly one.
It was
Mhm.
Fornold who smelled bad.
Yeah, it was
Fermenting
definitely-
Thornold.
Fermenting Fortnite.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the recap of our old campaign.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah,
Shameless plug.
Gotta have him.
yeah, you gotta have them. Speaking of things you gotta have, Bo's gonna say words that you gotta have in your brain so you know what's going on. Okay, so Bo runs up and just is huffing and puffing and says, "No, the crystal! Oh, ah, ah!" And he just like sits down frustrated. Doesn't really say much, just kind of like sulking a little bit.
I'm gonna go up to
Uh,
him and just say, look, little friend, I see that you're upset about the crystal, but I've got good news for you, is that the demons left. The crystal's here. I'm gonna keep it safe. So we're all mission critical. We're good to go. Don't
He
even
start-
worry, you little
He
head.
starts he starts crying a little bit. And he just says, "You don't understand. The crystal was its life. Now without its heart, it's gonna die. With no gorge, there's no protection. With no protection, there's no hope." And then he starts bawling his eyes out.
I just put my hand on his shoulder and I say, thank you for understanding.
Gain inspiration.
So good.
Um, yeah.
Bo, could you maybe explain a little bit more as to what you mean? I don't really understand what you mean by protection. Who's lost their protection?
Look, I need you to do something with me, as he continues to cry, but is like pulling himself together. I need you to sit in a circle, and I need your cooperation.
What is it we're gonna do?
I'll sit down and start a circle.
I'll join
Bo-
a circle.
When Yen sit down, Bo goes and sits right next to Yen's, and he says, "You, You look like a wizard. I saw you do the missile thing earlier. Are you
sure?
a wizard or not? Yes. I know what I saw.
I dabble.
Do you have a book? A grimoire?
I got a book.
A tome?
Yeah. My this very hefty book that could indeed be described as a tome or a grimoire.
He then licks all of his fingers. Somewhere like you see people lick their finger to turn pages, and you've also seen people lick their fingers after eating something particularly messy. This is somewhere in between that. You're not sure why he chose to lick all his fingers, but he did. And now he starts fingering through your book. He spends a few...
No. He is not allowed to touch the book.
What? You gotta show me something. I can't trust you unless you show me your book. I won't do anything to it, like rip pages out or eat them. I don't know why I said that. I'm not gonna do it.
I will flip through it. You can sit right here next to me, and we can go. Well, actually, I'm not even sure if I want to flip through it with you, just sort of like looking at it. What are you looking for in the book?
I know when I see it.
Counter offer. Know it when you tell me it.
Look, I have to see it because I need to know. I need to know things. Okay. Do you have a spell in there that someone put in the book?
Yes.
Show me.
I flip to Zone of Truth.
He gazes at it if you'll permit it.
I will permit that. Yeah, he can look at these specific pages.
He reaches out his somewhat moist fingers and doesn't. He looks at you and just says, "I'm just looking carefully." So he kind of like looks up at you all with almost an innocent look, kind of like the anger and jadedness is a little bit rubbed off, and he says, "So you're trying to help the sages?" Because I
know about the sages all along.
Of course I do. I just can't trust anyone who comes in and kills fish people. Do you know how many people do that a week? Do you know how many of them are evil?
We got the Seer of Truth his eyes back.
Oh. That makes sense, because this is his handwriting and he couldn't see, so I didn't know if he could have wrote this, so that all tracks. Okay. And he looks at Jens and says, "Do you trust me enough to let me touch you?"
Me?
Yes, you.
Me personally.
Yes, you.
Well, that depends. Where on my body?
He doesn't answer your question and then just grabs you by the front of your shoulders and just like puts his head against yours.
Okay, this is personal, but this is okay. Carry on.
And he starts a low chant in just kind of like common, but it's not words. It's just kind of like, "Arr!" And the page on your book kind of lights up a little bit, and he says, "There, cast it." He effectively gave you one cast of Zone of Truth and is telling you to cast it.
Oh, damn, that's cool. All right, yeah, I go through it and do the things.
Okay, cool. Does everyone just let Zone of Truth happen over them, or are people gonna try and resist it?
I'm trying to resist it. Absolutely.
I'm admiring my new club. I'm just kind of staring at it lovingly.
What save is it? Is it a charisma save?
I think it's a wisdom save, but I'd have to pull it up in front of me.
I think Barrow won't even notice. I don't think he's capable of lying anyway, so this is just gonna be like nothing's happening.
No, that's exactly how T would
It's a
react as
charisma
well. It's
save.
like, oh,
You're right, Emily.
It doesn't matter.
Natural one on the die, eh?
No, it was a 2.
So different.
Twice as good. Okay, so and Bo doesn't resist either. So he says to you, he says, "Look, now that I can trust you, I think. I don't know. I didn't cast the spell. He looks at Jens to be like, can I trust him? Because he doesn't know if they pass the save, only you do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I can trust you, but I guess I'll go with it.
Well, look, let me explain. You can trust the spell to be doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
Well, I guess that's good enough. Consider how dire situations are. So listen, 'cause I'm only going to say this once, and then maybe one more time, but probably just once. So, you were told to help the sages, and you got crystal eyes for the seer of truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I told you to not let them encase this crystal.
Yes.
Yes.
Crystal!
Yes.
Okay, I said I wouldn't say it more than twice. This crystal, damn it. He like looks off to the side for a second because he's pissed off he said crystal 3 times. This crystal is for the gorge, okay? This is the listening gorge, and this is the sage of sound.
Is this the gorge's ear?
Well, it's more like its life essence. It connects it to the rest of its being, and he points into the hole that you see like the yellowy, lightish kind of sparkles coming out of.
Look,
It's
we're
like
looking for
it's-
somebody who needs ears, so I don't know.
You're not listening, boy. This is it's the same thing. It's just not ears. It's just like it's like its heart, and it can't listen without its heart. And he starts getting a little teary again.
So the gorge is the sage.
Yes,
Huh.
Except
I
he's
just
not-
hang out here.
You're not the sage?
No, I just like hanging out with the sage. Sage can't talk, so
Okay.
I talk to the sage.
So wait, how does it speak to you?
Oh, it doesn't speak. I speak to the sage. The sage listens. This isn't the sage of speech. This is the sage of sound. Sage of sound listens. Sage of speech talks.
And so what wisdom does the sage of listening impart on you?
Well,
Not much, evidently.
he says
Not a very good
very soft.
sage.
He says very softly empathy, but it's overshadowed
Oh.
by Jens insulting him. And no one
Really, we
actually
need
has
that.
passive enough perception to hear it, so you guys actually don't get an answer from that. You just
Dang.
think he's an asshole.
I will say at this point that I have stopped listening to the crazy old man, and I am like pacing, trying to see if my old friend left anything in the corner.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. I just want to finish up what he says. But while he's giving his speech, you're not listening and you're looking for things.
No,
So
I have
will-
just left.
yeah. Orpheus is like, nah, I'm done. I can't lie, but I don't have to stay here. He says, listen, it's good for you. If you want to help this world, you'll get the sages back. Because without the sages, anyone can leave this plane and doesn't have to be sent back. Do you understand how dangerous that is?
Whoa, run that by me again?
Any
Could you
demon,
repeat yourself?
and I said I'd say it once, maybe only twice. This is the second time. So listen.
I'm listening.
When you said that, were you referring to all things you say? Or specific things?
All things.
And what was it you said again about all things?
He ignores yes. And he says, heed my words. If the sages don't have their crystals of power, any demon, lesser, greater, hell, even a little imp, doesn't have to be sent back to the realm from which it came. The sages bind demons here, so if something escapes and someone tries to send it back, it doesn't work. And he gets really
So-
grumpy and sits down.
Mhm.
So when you say demons, you mean devils, and when you say they can't be sent back, you mean like they can invade other planes and wreak havoc with no fear of being banished.
Boy, you can't listen, because I said demons and I mean demons. Devils aren't from this plane. Do you see any
What?
devils around here except for the one that just fucked off?
I think that's where you're
Well,
losing us,
what's a
because we
devil
did see the
doing
one that
here?
just fucked off.
Yes.
Well, let me run this past you bunch of racist folk. You're not from this plane, and you're here.
Well, you see, we were sent here because we died.
Well, other
guess
beings
demons
can
can-
get sent on the planes.
Die.
It's a thing I decided.
Oh, you decided.
You
it.
decided?
Well, not me, just like the whole fabric of the universe.
Are you the fabric of the universe?
What? No.
I was
He
gonna
kind of
ask the
like
same thing.
looks at his skin a little bit confused and just says, "No."
Now
Well,
remember,
Zone of
you
Truth,
can't lie.
I guess he's not.
Yeah, he's not lying.
Yeah.
Quick
yeah.
question for you. Do you regret anything from your life?
Yes, the fact that you have to help the sages.
You know what?
So
That's fair.
that's
I
not-
have
that's
a
not
lot
your
of regrets
life.
too.
Like before you died, any regrets from that time?
This is my life. Unlike you, I'm from here.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, I was born here. My parents were on vacation.
What?
You got left behind?
He's in a zone of truth.
He's got natural born citizenship. That's what he's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
Oh,
An
okay, I
abyss
see.
baker.
Of course.
Orpheus can't hear any of this.
It was me,
When-
Emily.
I asked you about the cause of your death.
I thought you were a
and
baker.
you were
I am a baker.
and you died.
I
When-
told you I don't remember dying.
Oh, but you were baking in not the
Oh,
abyss.
I might have to retcon this because I might have forgot what he said last session. And we are in a zone of truth.
So he just made up the entire thing.
Yeah, well, I make up everything all the time constantly, so that makes sense.
Well, speaking of regrets, since you asked, Jens, I actually have quite a few regrets.
Awesome.
If you don't mind me speaking, because there was this one time back when I was a kid, and it was just terrible. You see, my home life wasn't that great. We had a lot of problems, mainly, my dad being revered as a god, and everyone worshiping him 24/7. But I think the worst part was
with
when
while Cyrus is talking, Jens was has believed, due to the result of a certain check a while ago, that Cyrus was a con man. So him saying that his dad was revered as a god in the zone of truth makes Jens go back to the book, quickly rifle through, and like seeing if there's any way Cyrus is cheating this spell. So carry on. That's what Jens is doing.
Yeah, so I mean, my dad was just like he was a bit of a jerk. I actually made really good friends with one of the servants that was there, and her and I got along really well. And then like my dad found out, and he got kind of pissed. He ended up banishing their whole family, and I never saw her again. So I have a lot of regrets that I didn't like stop that from happening. But it's just I feel like I could have done more, but I guess that's just like a really big regret of mine. So, yeah, I think that's my biggest regret. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Are we all sharing our biggest regrets? Is that what we're doing now?
Well, Jens asked, so.
Mhm.
I tell you what.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to know from everyone. And Jens has closed his book, put it to the side, and is just focused now.
So little bow man, you said that this sage, which is the gorge, needs to be able to hear things. So what do you say we just, I don't know, find something magical and throw it in that hole and Bada bing, bada boom. We're good to go.
You can't just get anything magical. It needs to be a crystal. That crystal or one just like it.
Well,
The
this
only
crystal
way.
calcified, so probably not.
Yes. It's not good. It's pretty bad.
No one
Can't we
would
just
find
break it open?
those,
If you break it, you could risk breaking the crystal, and that's not going to be very good. I don't think you would do it just by hitting it yourselves. You'd probably need something greater of an impact. But if you go to the top of Mount Blood, you should be able to find another, or you could find someone that can help you get a new one, or break this one out.
Wait
Those
a
are probably
minute.
the two things.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that there's some kind of bigger blunt object out here in this world that I can use
Yes.
this open?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Samson, just like,
With my eyes wide and just
Yeah.
kind of
It's a bigger magical object.
and things like kind of calculating. We must find it for the good
I
of
agree.
the stage.
Apes together strong.
Yes.
Speaking of apes, Riley, I decided that he was lying then and telling the truth in the zone of truth with the things I made up. So what he told you about his son and how he died, that was clearly all lies. And what he said in the zone of truth has to be the truth. So he could have lied in the
Dang.
past.
Okay, well, pinning that because Cyrus has thrown you guys for a little bit of a loop here.
Yeah, it kind of all like goes like under the radar sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's the whole lore dump there. But yeah, just a DM recap so Bo doesn't need to angrily shout it at you guys anymore. He said that to fix the crystal or get a new one, go to the top of Mount Blood. And you need to help the sages, because if you don't, then anything that originates from this plane can't be banished back to it. Like demons.
Bad.
Demons, not devils. Because we're not racist.
You're not in hell. You're in the underworld, which is my personal flavoring of the abyss.
Okay.
Okay.
Devils are from the
And-
nine hells. Demons are from the underworld or
Cool.
the abyss.
And so, Bo, do you know who that devil was?
No, he just showed up here. I think he's part of the people that want, for some reason, to have all the sages distracted or destroyed or killed or something. Well, they can't kill the sages because you can't kill the sages. You have to kill the crystals. And you can't really kill the crystals. You have to hide them, steal them, or disarm them, like screaming at them.
And sucking their power out, obviously.
Well, I don't know if he sucked the power so much as dormanted it and then sealed it in stone. I think this is why you need to go to the top of Mount Blood.
But you said that sages can't be killed, but you said that this sage was dying?
Well, killed is a different thing here. The individual can die, but the spirit of the sage will live on. If you kill this sage, another sage will rise and take its place. Potentially in a different form.
Well, ideally nothing
Potentially
will
not.
die, so
But that process can take time, and that's dangerous. That's when dark periods happen.
right.
There's no
and
sage
we
for a
don't-
long time.
We don't need an era of darkness.
Now,
Okay.
what's stopping us from breaking off the stone from around this here crystal right here, right now? Is there some special character of this stone that can only be broken up on Mount Blood? Or could we just break this open right here?
I think Bo
Ye-
was saying that it might damage the crystal inside. And I know
Yeah.
how much, Bo, you hate to repeat yourself, so I figured I'd answer that for you.
He's frowning the whole time, but he kind of like smirks and grins at that because he appreciates you not making him repeat himself. But he does elaborate and says, "Look, I'm no wizard, or sorcerer, or anything fancy like that. But what I do know is that from the sealing that has taken place, you can't just crack it in half. It'll break the crystal. So the sorceress on Mount Blood, she knows stuff about this that I just don't know. And she might be able to salvage this crystal, or we have to make a new one. I
And
don't
we
know
can
what
trust
the
her?
answer is.
All right.
Well, I trust her. Do you trust me?
I
Yeah,
do.
you seem like a nice guy. And I'm sorry that we let you down. It feels bad.
It should. You should be disappointed. I'm disappointed.
I put my hand on Bo's shoulder again and I say, so what you're saying is that traveling to Mount Blood is the only way that we can protect this club from sustaining any damage. I understand.
He doesn't look like frustrated or angry, just kind of like, when someone's just like kind of checked out, like, yeah, good enough.
All right. It sounds like we have a solid destination in mind. We're a lot closer to solving one of these sages things than we have in a while. Can we do a quick circle up here, team? When I say that loudly enough to bring Orpheus back to the circle.
Yes, pausing there because I want to go over what Orpheus was doing while all this was going down. So, Orpheus, you had quite a bit of time. What would you be doing up on the platform? You're looking for anything in particular, or just kind of trying to do an investigation around to see what you can find?
Just doing like a very thorough search.
Okay, give me a perception and an investigation roll. They're for different things, but they are scaled in difficulty for the time that you were up there. So
Wisdom-based perception.
these are both intelligence.
That's good then. I got an 18 and a 17.
So looking around, you deduce a couple things. One, you know exactly who this person is, and it is none of the players know this unless you share this with them, but I'll tell you in front of everyone. This is one of your ex-lovers. Yeah.
Nice.
This is one of the princes in hell, and you were kind of pushed in their direction because of your father, and after your fallout with that whole side of your family, you kind of left abruptly. But up until that point, this was somewhat your partner in crime, and you guys were kind of being groomed to, take over your parents' positions.
Dang, okay.
Yeah. Looking around, you're trying to find something, and you notice on the ground there is a little trinket of sorts. You're not exactly sure what it is on first glance, but looking closer, it seems to be a little bundle of sage. Potentially a component for spells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I know any spells that use sage?
Roll me a Arcana check.
Oh, come on. It's a 4.
No.
Damn it.
You
It was just a
are.
miscellaneous bundle of sage.
Would you like to add it to your inventory?
I would, yes.
Yeah. You also remember that your friend, whose name is Lucy, was one that was dabbling in the art of spell crafting, that is trying to make their own magic. And his ultimate
Okay.
goal was trying to invent a new school of magic and was trying to seek out whatever power necessary to do so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the sage could be from just like a new spell.
A new spell, it could have just been something that fell off of him upon leaving. You also figure out through your investigation that whatever those demons were just illusions, some kind of illusion construct that were summoned by him. They clearly were able to deal damage and you guys could hit them, but just looking around and kind of inspecting, looking for like remnants of a body or anything that would have been like killed when the thing happened, you're thinking, no, these were illusions.
Interesting. But they felt, if we hit them and stuff, did they feel corporeal?
Well, you didn't hit any of them.
That's fair. I would have to ask.
You
I'd
have to ask the people that
Mr.
hit.
Bonk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, to avoid the dragging that question out, yes, they felt corporeal when they were hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They also felt pretty corporeal when they hit us.
That's true.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you would have found. And no, that's pretty much about it.
But I assume that I surmised that if they were all illusions that were simultaneously attacking us, this was probably an extremely, extremely powerful
Yeah, it
spell
would have
of
been
some sort.
something. You think it was something maybe whipped up, like a prolonged effect, kind of like a animate dead sort of thing, but animate spirit or whatever, maybe animate demon,
Interesting.
something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm. And with that, Orpheus, Jens calls out to you.
I will go and rejoin the party, looking a little disgruntled.
You okay?
Fine.
I think you're in the zone of truth at this point.
But she, oh yeah, you did, you failed to
That
save
is
the truth.
true.
Remember, you don't have to
Um,
answer. You can just choose to not answer.
Okay, I just won't answer then.
Sorry, shouldn't have asked. I just wanted to do a quick check-in with everybody because assuming we've all been telling the truth up to this point, we are playing with some extremely high stakes. So this can be a good. Anyway, Hati, what is your quest?
I mean, this is kind of what I came out to do, right? To help do good in the world. And clearly there's something not right over here. And it needs heroes like us to come in and put things in the right order.
When we, assuming we're successful, we return to the material plane. What do you hope to accomplish?
I'm probably going to go travel back into the Feywild and reach out and find out if there is, if I can fulfill my destiny in some way or form. I think there's still something that needs to be done. There's an unwritten story for me there.
I trust Hati with my life, honestly.
Does harming or betraying any of the people in the circle factor into those plans at all?
Why would I do that? No, they
Why
don't.
would
No, it does not.
Cyrus, what is your quest?
Well, I think we're all on the same quest here to like, help the sages out. Um,
Sorry, what is apologies? Your long-term quest.
Long term, well, I was sent here because I didn't have the strength that I needed in the material realm. So I I told you guys a little bit about what's going on with me, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get enough strength, learn and grow from everyone else here. And I need to get back to the upper plains, back to Brightwater, so that I can overthrow my father because he's a bit of a jerk. So, once we succeed here, I'm gonna be uh going back home, I guess, and hopefully gonna be freeing all of my people from his tyranny as a god, and hopefully I'll be a bit of a kinder and more supportive god for everyone.
Does harming anyone here factor into those plans?
God, no, I'd rather harm myself.
So sad.
Orpheus,
Jeez.
what's your quest?
I'm just I'm just trying to be better.
Amen.
I learned a lot of stuff very recently that was all very bad and that I had never really thought about before. And I don't even really know what my quest is at this point. I'm just here to try to figure out what it could be.
Any chance at all that harming anyone here could factor into that quest once you figure it out?
No.
Samson, what's your quest?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that because I feel a strong compulsion, to be honest. I don't know where that's come from, but I just feel closer to all of you than I have ever before. So, to be honest, I spent my whole life wanting to be a hero of legend that they would sing songs about, because I was told from a young age that that was what the people in my bloodline were good at. And I thought a hero was just about being strong. And when I failed and had all my strength taken away from me, I felt like I had nothing to contribute to the world anymore. And it was when I met all of you that I learned that being a hero is more about bravery than it is about strength. And I think I've lacked bravery as much as I've lacked my strength this past short while, and I've deflected with humor and ignorance as a way to work through the anxiety that I feel around having failed and not wanting to fail again. But to be honest, the reason why I want this club and the reason why I want to complete this quest is so that I can show that I am a hero, because you've inspired me to be the hero that I can be.
Would you ever harm anybody here?
Not on purpose.
Samson, I have a question for you. Does on purpose include throwing me across a room?
Only if it would benefit the party.
Okay.
And with your consent, my friend.
Vero, what is your quest?
My friend, setting aside this very here quest that we are all on together, I am on no quest. I am doing life. And life is no quest. Life is something that you experience. You let it flow through you. It is not something to achieve or to attain. And there is no end point where life is finished. We just move from one state to the next. It flows like water. Now, I'm on a quest right now. When this is all done here, and if we ever find ourselves back on the plane from where we came from with green grass under our feet, well, I might find myself on another quest, because there are always people who need help, and there are always things that need to be done by people with the gumption to do what needs to be done and who have in their hearts what is right. But until then, I am on no quest. I am just experiencing my life, and I am just doing what needs to be done.
At any point in your life, do you think you'll harm any of the people here?
Well, I don't know what's in another man's heart, and I can't speak for anyone else here, but if one day I chance across one of you and I see that your heart is black as tar and it is corrupt and it is hurting people around you, well, then I think maybe it's possible that I could find myself hurting one of you fine folk. But I can tell you, if your hearts contain what I think your hearts contain, I don't see that being a real possibility.
It's a very wise answer.
Bear, you are so wise.
Thank you.
I think that also deserves an inspiration. That was so in line with your backstory.
That was so good.
That was amazing.
The DM is 100% disappointed in everyone here when they were asked what their quest was. No one said to find the Holy Grail.
I kept wanting to say, what is your favorite color?
I was
Well,
just thinking that the whole time.
now hold on.
Well,
Let's not get
well,
ahead
yeah,
of
no.
ourselves here.
Sorry.
Jens, we've all
Yeah.
answered.
Mm. Hmm?
It's your turn.
What is your quest?
Yeah, the one person that doesn't have to tell the truth.
Well, it does. I don't think Cyrus would know, so it doesn't matter.
No, yeah. No, I know. I'm just reminding Riley.
After hearing all of us do this.
Well, after hearing Vero, there's a lot of things I want to accomplish. I think the most pressing is trying to return to my city. That was the physical city is all but gone, but the people are there. And I failed them when they were most in need. And it burns inside my skin every single minute that we're here, that I'm helpless to help them right now. Beyond that, I'm petrified that the system I helped uphold contributed to their downfall. And I have it in mind to overturn that system. Replace it with what? I don't know. With something different.
And do you see yourself harming anyone in the party?
Well, I fully agree with Vero that anything is possible. As you all stand now, no, I don't see myself hurting anybody here. Unless there's a necessity, your life is in danger, and I can utterly incinerate the person trying to harm you at the cost of slightly scorching you as well.
In a metaphorical sense?
In a very,
No.
very literally.
Fireball sense.
Got you.
I
Jens,
suppose
were
that's
you
reasonable.
were you a cleric?
I was for a long time.
Is that why you ask everyone about their gods?
Yes.
What god did you follow?
God of justice.
That tracks.
But I am no longer convinced that they were just at all. And before we arrived here, I was slowly starting to doubt for a long time. And when we finally got here, I reached out for aid without expecting it to come. And because that god or that force was no longer in my heart in the same way, I reached out and found nothing. So I reached out and picked up a rock. Not in the metaphorical sense.
Well, if you're looking for a new god,
Cyrus,
yes.
Read the room.
this is an inappropriate time.
Okay. But if you want to know more about my family's history, you're welcome to ask me anytime.
Thank
And
you,
Cyrus
everyone.
gains inspiration.
That was great.
I felt so bad for doing that, but I had to.
But it was good. It was so good.
Are you feeling vulnerable right now?
know,
The
that's
Church
the
of
perfect
Zoral has
time.
solutions.
The church preys on the vulnerable, unfortunately.
I'll just leave this brochure with you.
Yeah, there you go.
You just get to it when you need it. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is a good spot for the party to take a long rest would you guys like to do that?
That would be
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, Cyrus would like to hand the big stone tablet of the map that we have to Bo and say, would you be willing to fill in a little bit more details on this, particularly how we get from wherever we are to Mount Blood?
He takes the stone tablet and just gives you one solid definitive nod that you take to mean yes. And he gets to
Cool.
work doing something, but he takes it off to the corner.
Okay.
Nice.
One final thing I would like to do as we start to settle in for our rest. I think the light of Zone of Truth fades.
Yeah.
And it's gone. Once it's gone, I would like to ask Cyrus, your friend who was banished, what was their name?
Oh, her name was Therdania. Um, so I like to keep a little piece of her with me at all times. Yeah.
If you
So
want to know why Emily's freaking out, listen to the recap.
yeah,
Sorry, I cut you off.
I'm so sad.
Oh my
she'll always hold a
God.
very special place in my heart, because it is partially my fault that she was banished. We were in a restricted section of the house and we were caught. And so, yeah, actions have consequences.
You guys finish your long rest. I imagine you guys also heal each other up, so expend your heal kits to do so.
Hey.
You guys regain some class features, so now all of the casters have their full level 1 accessibility of spells. Whoop-de-doo.
Very exciting.
The fighters are able to have a fighting style, and the paladin is able to find out that they're surrounded by undead and fiends.
Wow, that's not concerning at all.
Divine sense is just yes.
Divine
sense
sense
is just
is party.
Uh,
I sense friends.
yes. Sense friends.
I mean, really, the undeads are friends most of the time, and the fiends are not friends usually. So it's a great way of telling friend from foe.
That's true. Yeah, you will know who's whom.
Mhm.
All right, so you guys finish your long rests, and Bo comes back to you and gives you a slightly zoomed in map. He drew it on the back side of the tablet, and it's basically just showing you a couple of paths to get up Mount Blood. He comes up and he just kind of like says like, I won't do the voice, but just meta what he says. He says like, this is the easiest path. It'll take the longest to get there, and you shouldn't encounter any trouble. It should be a really boring, easy walk to the top. Granted that nothing scary tries to kill you, but what are the odds of that happening? Nothing scary will try and kill you, except for maybe that one thing, because you know how he talks really disconcertingly.
Sorry, what
Then
was that one thing? I
Oh.
don't appreciate that you skipped over that.
oh, it's just sometimes the lava spits up really big like and gets huge and massive and can be very dangerous, but that hasn't happened in a little while, so you're probably going to be fine.
Okay.
Define a while.
Oh,
I will be fine. It's just a little lava.
he gets it.
Do we have enough time to take the long path?
I don't know if we're in a rush or not. This has been going on for a while.
No,
Define a while.
but like the gorge doesn't have its heart. Like I assumed we were in a bit of a rush for that.
Oh yeah, I'd like you to not dilly-dally and take your time. So if you could do it faster, that'd be good. But you know, take the safe path. I don't want you to die. If you die, then it's gonna be really hard to fix this.
Okay. We'll take the safe path. We trust you.
And he says, here's the middle path. The middle path has lots of little demons on it. You guys could probably be fine. It's way far away from the lava. And he says, then there's the deadly path. This you have to climb up 500 feet of sheer rock. And then after that, it's another scramble, and there's a whole bunch of demons. I wouldn't recommend taking this path.
Good.
And he says at the top, you'll meet the sorceress who he assures you is a good sorceress and not an evil one. Why would he send you to an evil sorceress? No one would ever do that to you guys.
Insight check.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
Okay.
He believes this to be a good sorcerer. But who knows what I rolled, Emily?
Not me.
Yep. And yeah, with that, he says there might be other paths. It's been a little while since he's been there. And he again does not disclose what a while is. So when you get there, you might want to assess the situation. But he says when you get there, explain your circumstances, let the sorceress know that Bo sent you, and she might need to vet you herself because can't just trust any group of scoundrels that comes up Mount Blood. Do you know how many different groups of scoundrels try to get up Mount Blood every day? Loads, and they're all bad. So you
How
gotta
many,
prove
Bo?
yourself.
Like
Oh,
How
three?
many?
A good amount.
Bo,
Cool.
you have not been particularly forthcoming.
I've told you
If you
everything
had given
need
us
to know.
more information about the crystal, maybe
What would
we
you
would
have
have
done?
saved the crystal, and
Would you
you
have hit
wouldn't
things better?
We would have
probably.
hit the right things.
So, Bo, don't stop trying to pin everything on us and give us more information if you want us to succeed. I'm tired of you just saying stuff.
Good
He
point.
gets a little bit grumpy and shuts down, doesn't really respond well to arguments. And he just says, I've told you everything you need to know. Just go there and take the stone with you. Should be fine. I bet, maybe. He's kind of getting a little defeated and just sitting down. A little pouty.
Cyrus is gonna come over and sit next to him, put a hand on his shoulder, like sort of a hey bud sort of thing. Be like, I know you did your best, Bo. And I just want to say thanks. You've been a swell guy. See ya.
He doesn't say anything. Okay. All right. And with that, Emily's disgruntled, or so Orpheus, maybe Emily too. Orpheus is disgruntled with Bo, and you guys head off through the gorge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Human and
Taking
blood.
our defeated our drained crystal.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Hati, you're walking along. You guys are moseying about, seeing the sights. You can see the lava rivers off in the distance. You guys are slowly ascending up out of this gorge. And you look down at your arms where you put the goo, and you're noticing that the skin is looking just a little bit more vibrant in those spots.
Oh,
Like
I knew
it's
it was magical.
it's kind of weird. It's like a little patch almost where the rest of your skin is like discolored and necrotic and whatnot. But this patch seems to have, a little bit of life in it.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Did I did
no,
I did I take
I was
some of
just-
the more of the goo?
I think you just rubbed it on you, and Jens took a small vial. No one took a large amount of the goo.
Damn it. I'm just regretting it to myself right now.
No one else appears to notice this on Hati. It's just him.
I will point it out. It's like, guys, look. Look.
Oh, wow. That's
Magnificent,
great.
Hattie.
Exactly. It's magical. It's just, anyone have some more of it? I want to use more.
Jens, what are you drinking there? Is that goo?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Get it out
Insight check.
of the mister.
You're not sure what it is, and you're not sure if Jens is telling the truth.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Fine. Keep the goo to yourself. I understand if you do.
Well, it's okay. I'm sure we'll find more goo monsters and we'll be able to get some more goo.
Yeah, according to Bo, those fish things are everywhere, being killed left, right, and center.
Hmm.
That is what he said in the
Hmm.
zone of truth.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
In the zone
Maybe
of
if we
truth
find
too.
another cave, we can go in and
Just have a
climb
bath
into the
in the goo.
mouth of a goo monster.
Exactly.
Hmm. You
Wow.
guys
That's
are
the plan.
walking for quite a while, so if you guys want to have more conversation, I'm just gonna let you do that. Otherwise, I can tell you what you guys see in the next series of events here.
I guess the question is there like a path we want to commit to?
You
That's
guys
a
are
good
kind of
point.
just following the wide path of the gorge right now, and you're slowly ascending up. You can see Mount Blood off in the far distance, as it's the only thing that vaguely resembles a mountain around you. Everything else is kind of just like these weird columns of rock and stuff, but there's one clear looking thing that's a mountain.
Is it red?
It's more of that kind of burgundy reddish color that all the rock is. You're not really seeing any sort of blood red stuff. But Orpheus,
fair.
looking at the peak and trying to analyze it for blood, you perceive something interesting. It looks like the mountain, it doesn't come to a peak. It does. It comes to a very close to a peak, but then it collimates up and joins the ceiling. Almost like if you got up there, you could potentially, I don't know, touch the top of the layer you're in.
The ceiling doesn't even look like a ceiling,
Interesting.
right? It's like a mirror of what's beneath it.
Yeah, it looks like that. So it's kind of like it comes up to this point. It's not like a mirror, it's more like a dual. So it looks like rock on top, but whatever it is, like it comes down to a point and they kind of meet here. Not like there's another equally sized mountain above, but almost like this mountain kind of meets the top there. And remember, it's like 8 to 10
Interesting.
kilometers high. So this is a tall mountain.
Wow.
Big. And
Fascinating.
also it does glow a little bit as there are some lava rivers that cut down the side of it. Hence the warning
Are
of potentially a lava
we
beast.
It's a good aesthetic for a mountain, I have to say.
Lava rivers? Yeah.
Just like the burgundy with the lava rivers.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool. Are we far enough away from it still that we can sort of, well, we must be because we can see to the top of it. So yeah, we're quite far away. We can see the whole massive.
Yeah.
Does it look like it's going to be a climbing challenge to climb, or like it's broad enough and like ramped enough that we think we can just hike it, scramble it?
Jens is not sure from this distance. It looks like maybe there's like if Bo's to be believed, you could see how maybe there's possible avenues to get up this. But from the distance you're at, it's very difficult to tell if he's full of shit or not. Your perception is just you're not really figuring it out here.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll as we approach, I'll keep doing my best to just like eyeball it and come up with possible routes up.
Mhm.
Well, we already have 3 paths. There's the easy, medium, and hard path.
I think looking at this thing, we stick to the easy path.
I was thinking the hard path.
I was thinking the medium path.
Why wouldn't we do
Fucking
the easy
Goldilocks.
paths?
Hati has picked the right path for us up to this point. I go with Hati's.
I don't
think
know.
you're right.
Something about the medium, the hard path just kind of sticks out to me.
You want to scale a very vertical, challenging rock face and then fight a bunch of really strong demons.
Friends,
I feel powerful.
we
I
we were
don't.
given some keen advice from someone who we have found to be a slightly trusted advisor. I'm not sure why we would throw the advice of our friend out the window and choose the hardest path that he has revealed to us. My gut is telling me that he has told us about the hard path so that we may avoid it rather than going down the hard path in case we become lost or for some other such reason that the easy path becomes unavailable to us.
Well, you know what they
Varro, I think you make a good point. We should take the easy path.
Yes, nothing worth easy is ever doing.
Sorry, there's so
What?
many funny things there, but the one was just Hati saying stuff, and then Samson just be like, yes. Hard path. And then literally everything Barrow says.
I feel like anytime we're all being idiots, Pharaoh comes out of nowhere and is like, all right, here's why you're all idiots in the most polite way possible.
He stops his whistling and says something insightful.
I agree though. We shouldn't let his our friend Bo's kindness go to waste. That'd be just like an insult to him.
You make good points. I think my gut feeling now is telling me the easy path is the way to go.
Okay. We can maybe go down the medium path if we feel like it on the way back, but I think I want to kind of stay clear of the hard path. It sounds hard.
I'm not against challenges, and I am antsy to move faster and get back to the physical realm. But there's a point at which hard becomes hard just for the sake of hard. I'm not explaining myself well. Risk versus reward. We might not make it through the hard path at all.
And we're
the
no
challenge.
use to anyone dead.
There's nothing heroic about doing something hard for no reason.
I'm learning a lot.
Sacrificing yourself for someone else, now that's a completely different story. But we're not bettering anyone by doing this for nothing.
So we're going the easy way.
I think so.
Going the easy way.
I think so.
Perfect.
All right.
As you guys have this conversation, you're making your way slowly out of the gorge, which is a slow ascent up, and then you find yourselves unable to discern the path as the lava rivers kind of at the top here start cutting up the ground into these little pools of lava and different sort of small off streams. It looks like it's very difficult to actually find a path that isn't on the river. And nope, definitely not. Okay, Vero, in his infinite wisdom, is the first to spot a individual creature that is bipedal in nature. It's a little bit in the distance to make out, is wearing some sort of cloak and appears to have a long beak on his face, is rowing around on what appears to be a stone slab and has some sort of stone rod and is just kind of like rowing along the rivers. He's probably about 60 to 80 feet away, so you could probably shout at him to get his attention if you want to, or you guys could figure out another solution to get across these rivers, as there does appear to be, maybe you could try and grab some stones or chisel some stones off around here. There's a whole bunch of like jagged random rocks that if you wanted to try and pull out of the ground, maybe you could do, but there's other options too. I want to know what you guys want to do before I just assume you're going to go to this NPC I've set up for you.
Well, if Vero's the only one to see them, he might just shout without consulting the rest of the party, being the trusting kind of nature he has, might just shout, "Howdy there! I said, howdy!" wave to the person floating on the rock.
Not quick enough to stop you, but before you do actually say anything, Orpheus and Samson also spot this creature, but not before you can say hello, howdy, and wave to them. Everyone else is oblivious until you say this. Then the three people who haven't spotted this individual start looking around, and then you see him because this individual is moving towards you now, and a few minutes pass as they navigate the rivers and the
Vero, do you
comes up.
remember the last time we encountered people rowing around? I think we were warned about them.
Well, we were warned about a certain character floating around on a previous lake of acid or
Yeah.
some other vile substance. If I recall, that person offered us a enticing deal to get us across the river that we rejected after
I
much consideration.
I believe we were warned afterwards that there is a price that is just paid later,
I
if
think
my
that
memory
price was
serves me
our
correctly.
souls. I think they
Hmm.
were straight up with. I think that the person was straight with us and told us that they would uh, ask the price later. We agreed very wisely at that time that that was a bad transaction, and our fears were confirmed later. That yes, the price demanded later would be our souls that we're trying to save.
So all ferrymen should be cautiously approached. That's all I'm saying, Vero.
Fair
As
enough.
you guys have this little aside while the uh lava warden is coming towards you, you notice this individual is very peculiar. They look like they have a pelican style beak and black feathers covering the rest of their face. They are not a Kenku. They appear to be something different. Um, they give that sort of vibe, but nope, nope, and yep. Cyrus, Vero, and Jens, you're pretty sure this is some kind of demon. It comes towards you and it just says, hello. And it just stares at you.
Hi. Do you offer services?
No, but if you want to take a ride, you can.
Where are you going?
I just go all over. This is kind of what I do.
Okay.
Just for
Uh,
fun?
Yeah, I guess. I enjoy it.
Good for you.
Beats walking.
fair enough. You're going,
Yeah.
are you going upstream?
I could go upstream. I was just going around. Sometimes I like to take little loops. Go upstream, downstream, up Mount Blood, down Mount Blood, down to the market, all and around. I even like to go out to the bridge sometimes, but it's
Oh, the
far
bridge.
and
Where's
I'm
the
tired
bridge?
sometimes. It's a little bit to the north or south, depends who you ask. Directions
I'm
are
going to
kind of
consult
meaningless
my
down here.
map.
Can you
Okay.
point to
Could
it?
there be a bridge to the north?
He said north or south, and given that you're not sure the directions of this, and it kind of seemed like the coordinates were written backwards, there is a bridge north or south.
Hmm.
Or
Okay.
actually, hang on, was there one on your map that was labeled? What was labeled on your map again? I think Kati wrote it down in his.
I wrote down what was written, but then you just said that that Bo sort of added stuff on the back with the paths.
Just to Mount Blood. So there's no bridge on your map.
Oh,
Sorry, that
okay.
was a DM spoiler. There's a bridge on my map.
Cool.
But that was kind of not a
North or
spoiler because he
south?
just alluded to it.
There's a bridge
Mhm.
somewhere. Okay,
It's
that doesn't
north
go
or
to
Yeah.
Mount
south.
Blood.
There's the bridge.
There's a bridge. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Th- does this rock? This is not character talking. Does the rock seem like it could fit all of us on it?
snugly, yeah. You don't think anything would happen if you guys all stood on it?
Okay.
I have
Would
an
anyone-
important question.
Yeah.
So I'm currently immune to fire. And I don't know, I don't even know if this would count with lava because it's not really fire. But like, can I put my foot into the lava without anything happening?
You're certainly welcome to try.
Okay, so like the closer I get to the lava, does it start hurting or does it not hurt?
Without going into the lava, you don't notice anything more than just the discomfort of the heat.
Okay. What if I put the tip of my finger into the lava?
Do you want to do your bony finger or a new finger?
Probably my bony finger,
I don't know if we
even though
ever
it's pretty
said
cool.
which hand was it on? Was it on your primary or your secondary hand?
I don't remember. I assume that if I was poking my finger into a random lake, it was probably my secondary hand.
Okay, so let's say it's your secondary hand's index finger. If that's left or right, doesn't matter, but you put just the bony tip in. Not even like, so say it's down to your first knuckle that you have the bone finger. You just put just the tip. So just like only a
Just the
quarter of the
tip.
way down. And it melts completely off.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt.
I'll just sort of inspect it and then like try to cover it so that it looks like I didn't actually put my hand in the lava. Sort of be like, it gets hot if you put your hand close to it.
Yeah.
I was just
Okay.
checking if that was the case. Just making
Did
sure it was real
Jens
lava.
notice that Orpheus burnt off their
No.
finger?
I rolled a stealth for Orpheus and it beat all of your guys' passive perceptions.
Okay.
None of you know I'm a fool.
Yeah, because your stealth is +0, so that beats everyone's passive perceptions. That's right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so Vero seems to think the stone raft is sturdy enough for you guys all. It's about it's 2 squares by 4 squares long, so it's pretty wide. That's 10 by 20. Enough room for you guys all to fit.
Mr. Boatman,
Yeah.
when's the last time you took someone for a ride?
It's been a while.
What happened to them?
I think I took someone from around the base of Mount Blood down to the market. That was all they did.
Did they
They weren't-
survive?
I think so. I didn't check in on them.
Did they leave and go back to the market? Like you sort of watch them walk away?
I don't really watch people walk away. I just kind of leave after I drop them off. I really don't
But
care what happens to them.
they successfully exited your boat onto the land.
Yes, they stepped off the boat onto the land. And then I went away. It's their problem now. It's their life. They can deal with it.
So you just boat up and down the river.
Yep.
How long you been doing that?
My entire existence.
Your entire existence. Any idea roughly how long that's been?
347 eons.
You're kidding.
Yep, I am.
How long is an eon?
As long as you want it to be. I think it's 14 years.
Oh, I was about to say we were almost the same age. I'm 346, but that's years, not eons.
Yeah, I like measuring my age in eons. It's less depressing that way.
So you must know this area really well. You see,
I know
we're
it
trying
like the
to...
back of my feathers.
Nice. Okay. Well, we're trying to get up to Mount Blood, but we seem to have like lost the path. And I'm going
There
to
is
show
no
him the
path
map.
from here. You have to take the lake.
Well, but you see, our friend drew us this map here, and it shows that there's 3 paths here. And did we get lost at some point, or could you like get us maybe back onto the path?
Do you hand him your map or do you just like show it
I'm
to
just
him?
gonna show. I'm just showing it to him.
He looks at the map for a second. He says, "That's from the base of the mountain.
Oh, so we're not even there yet.
You're not close to the base of the mountain."
Oh,
And he
okay.
kind of gestures to the distance the mountain is.
We knew that. We were just seeing if you knew that to see if you were a reliable source of directions.
He squints at
We
you
were?
and just says, "Yep, right, sure."
I'm so sorry. I feel like once again I'm getting hung up on the wrong thing, but pardon me, you've been just wandering this river alone for your entire existence.
Well, people come and go. I meet them.
Do you know how you ended up here?
By choice.
By choice.
I've been on the river
So you
my
had
whole
an
life.
existence before being here.
Creatures come into the world and they leave the world. I came into the world. I fell in love with rafting.
That's beautiful.
Right.
Uh,
But
I respect that.
Love's a strong word. I don't hate it.
Hmm.
What
I
else
hate
don't
most
you hate?
things.
What
I
what
hate
what
most
don't you
things.
hate? Most things. Well, that makes it easier, right? If I
Do
asked
you
you what
hate
you
us?
hated, it'd be a long conversation.
Yeah, it would be.
Hati?
Oh, do you hate us?
Ah,
Uh, I'm starting to.
Maybe we should stop with the questions and just get on the boat and go across the river
Yeah,
or the
would it be
lake.
all right if you took us up towards Mount Blood?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not coming back for you
That's fair.
unless I'm
Well,
in the
we can
area.
all fit on, right? And then like we'll figure our own way back. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to protect you from anything that comes out of the river. You're on your own.
Do you do this for
Ooh,
free?
what comes out of the river?
Like I said, I just like paddling around here.
Are there any like monsters that pay you to do this?
No, I just do it for the enjoyment. I like watching people
Insight check.
get attacked. Okay, sure. He just said he likes watching you get attacked. You think you take it at his word that he gets pleasure out of watching you guys suffer on his raft. So he's not going to help you, but he's like helping you by taking you along. But he's also serving his own need of getting pleasure out of watching you guys get beat on.
Okay.
Nice.
And what sort of things come out of this river?
Well, if I told you, that would spoil my fun.
Fair enough.
Well, we can make it more fun for you
How
by
challenging would
defeating
you
the
say it
thing.
is to pull this river up and down?
So-
Sorry, pull the boat up and down the river.
Wait, what do you mean pull? The GM is asking. What do you mean?
No,
Pull the
You
boat?
said
Jens,
he.
no, stop this.
Jens,
I'm
yes.
just curious.
No. I want to entertain this. What do you mean, Riley?
So when you were describing him coming towards us, you were saying he was had like a long pole and he was pulling his way along like a gondolier in Venice, and that so the river is shallow enough he's just moving along. So I'm asking, how hard is that? Like, how much skill does that take?
How much strength do we need? Jens.
Would be a lot.
I'm curious.
You're not entirely sure. Jens is a very studied individual and knows a certain thing about fluids. And not all fluids are created equally, and some fluids are harder to move through. With your experience in trudging things along water, you're familiar with the drag, and that it does require some amount of strength. You'd say someone that is well above average human strength would breeze through it. Now, when it comes to this lava business, you're wondering if it would be a lot harder. You might need someone of extraordinary strength.
Do you hate arm wrestling?
What's arm wrestling?
Allow me to demonstrate, and I'll look over at who's standing close to me.
And everyone's standing close to you, so pick your poison.
Vero will demonstrate with me, and we go over to a rock, and we do a little arm wrestle.
Yep.
Okay.
Who wins?
Both of you give me a athletics test. It's contested. If you're actually trying to win, I don't know if you're like gonna throw or not. If one of you's just gonna like let the other win, then you don't need to. But
I'll get a 14.
okay.
3.
Okay. I didn't know we were going to do on a tie, so I'm glad we did. So Jens just crushes Vero, who is not ready for this. Like, oh, I guess this will be okay. Boop.
Damn, Jens.
He says, yeah, I hate that.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you want to try it?
Well, I'll try anything once. He doesn't get off his raft. He just kind of like holds his arm out and with the elbow on nothing.
Lovely. I tap Samson on the back.
He's been admiring his club, kind of just like swinging it,
Yeah.
veering off into the distance. And he's like, "Oh, you need me for something?"
Yeah. This gentleman wants to try arm wrestling once, so you on that?
Sheath the club and go, "Oh, I suppose I could. Oh, I'll take a crack." And then we'll do what contested athletics check, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Sweet. I get all up into position and just kind of like spit on my face.
I'm gonna inspire Samson.
Yes, do it.
I have inspiration as well.
Bardic
Nice.
Inspiration is
Bardic
different though
Inspiration.
too.
It's a
Yeah.
D6 that you add.
Sweet. So do I roll that first or?
You can do your roll and then you can choose to add the Bardic Inspiration after if you'd like.
Okay. Nat 20.
Yes!
What's your modifier? Because natural 20s don't matter in checks. But what's your
Okay,
modifier?
Modifier is 3. So
Modifier is 3,
23.
so 23. Okay, yeah, you still win. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yay!
it's a really good struggle though. Like you can see that even though this guy has never arm wrestled before, he's figured out something. But Samson gets the best of him and twists his arm and he says, "Well,
I'm sorry you hated it. I was trying to bring a little enjoyment to your life, and then I
Well,
look at
what was the
Cyrus
wager?
and Orpheus like,
He has to give us his boat now? Is that?
Surely there was a wager on there.
Looks confused. He's like, why did I just do that?
I feel like, as a test of strength, what you should do next is, because Samson beat you, we should see if Samson can paddle your boat with all of us in it. And you can watch from shore and sort of measure how it's going.
he starts paddling away from you guys."
See, I told you guys, we just need to hop on.
In a very theatrical whisper, I'm just going to say, "Ah, well, I guess no one is really as strong as Samson. What a shame."
I don't think he cares.
and if that's a persuasive thing, then I'll try to use the help action by agreeing like, yeah, he was too afraid to even try.
Can I roll persuasion?
You can roll persuasion, yeah.
Okay.
It is against his apathy.
Well, it's pretty good. That's a 19.
19. You get a slight look over the shoulder and he just keeps on paddling. You can
Damn
tell he, like he said, he gives zero fucks about any of you. He was just willing to offer you a ride because he gets enjoyment out of watching you get beat on. And then he didn't want to put up with more shenanigans, and he entertained Jens for a little bit, but he's like, "I'm done. I'm just out."
Can I sling a rock at his head?
Yeah. Totally, you can. Yeah, totally. 100%. 100% do that. Yeah, he's turned around. He's not looking at you.
Prove that I'm better than you.
Samson, don't do that.
Can you, so with your, I guess this is your sling. Yeah. Do you want to just roll me the attack there, Vito?
Oh, womp, womp, womp. That's the sound the dice made when it rolled. 7 altogether.
The pebble falls short into the lava. Makes a little kerploop sound.
It's okay, guys. We can still walk. I mean, there may not be a path, but like we can walk alongside the river.
There'll probably be a bridge at some point.
I mean, it's not a lake. It's like we can follow the ferryman's going along the same river that we would have been, and we can just walk next to it.
He's also just pushing a rock along. If all else fails, we can just find a big rock
Find a
and
big old slab that floats.
tuck
Yeah.
it in. Yeah.
To the first point, the DM described it as being like a network of rivers. So at a certain point, it becomes impossible to follow along without either jumping across because you guys are just getting cut off. To the second point, there are stones and jagged slabs all around. So you guys could take some time and try and fashion your own raft like this individual was on.
What sort of
or a third
stick
option
did he have?
It was a piece of stone. It was some long cylindrical piece of
Okay.
stone. Cylindrical-esque. It wasn't like a perfect cut or anything. It was just something he had.
I think we just go for it for as long as we can.
Maybe we can jump. Maybe
there's a bridge.
build
Maybe
a
we
bridge.
can jump. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That seems like it'd be easier than building a boat. Just
Yeah.
throw some steps in for ourselves.
We don't really have any other options at this point. We
Yeah.
lost our ride.
Mm-hmm.
You guys alienated your ride.
Someone was trying to take over the ride.
What are you talking
Someone
about?
wouldn't let us take over the ride when we had a chance.
That would be so mean. This guy was spending like 300 and however many eons
47.
347 eons of his life, which is like, multiply that number by 14 for years for whatever reason. I didn't know that an eon was 14 years, but you learn new things every day. And now it's like you wanted to take that one thing that you didn't hate away from him.
Cyrus, what he enjoyed was watching people suffer, not rafting.
That's an important point. You might have
There's a
missed that.
very
Hmm.
important distinction there.
Well,
I don't know.
what he said was he found pleasure in the simple act of rafting, but he took on passengers not because he enjoyed the act of taking on passengers, but because he enjoyed the additional satisfaction he got from watching them get attacked and defend themselves. But a man can enjoy simply rafting without taking on passengers, which is what our friend appears to be doing as we speak, as he quickly rafts away from us.
He takes joy in two things, rafting and watching people get attacked,
But he
And
was
I mean, who
presumably-
doesn't like a good fight?
presumably burned to death in the lava river. Or if they're already dead, disintegrated in the lava river?
Oh, we would disintegrate in the lava river?
I'm not sure, but it seems very likely.
Okay.
Or would we just take fire damage? Which we
I don't
can-
think I
Wonder
don't
if
think
we
that's the
test this.
case. I don't
You don't
think we
think so,
should test it.
Orpheus?
I'm gonna stick my
I
hand.
just have a feeling I know a lot about this kind of stuff.
I do think that being in
Hang
lavas-
on, Riley. Samson, what do you do?
I said I'm gonna stick my hand into the magma river.
Okay.
Samson,
Your whole
no.
hand?
Huh?
Your whole hand?
Yeah,
How
or
do you want to do
maybe,
it?
maybe just
Can
like
Cyrus try and stop this from happening?
Roll
Like-
initiative, you two. If you're gonna try and stop him, I need initiative rolls.
That was an 8 on the die, so a 7.
Samson?
7 as well.
Oh,
Who's got the higher
My
initiative
modifier
bonus?
is +1 though.
-1 for me.
Yeah.
-1?
Yeah.
Oh, then Samson goes first.
I'm just gonna
Samson,
I'm gonna be like, I can take some fire damage.
stick your pinky in, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
My
On your
pinky-
main hand or your offhand?
My left hand, my offhand.
Okay. Yeah, you stick your pinky in and it's gone.
Fuck.
I also forgot to say this for you, Orpheus, but it's the same for Samson. You guys both do take fire damage as well.
even though I'm immune to fire, I still take fire damage.
Oh, sorry. If you're immune to it, then no, you don't take it.
I just lose the tip of my finger.
You just lose the tip of your finger.
Oh, did you do the same thing as well?
Just with the, but no one noticed, so it made perfect sense that you would have done it because no one saw that
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Nice.
Otherwise, I would have been like, "Oh, you saw Orpheus do this, and it was not good." But
Glad that I didn't put my whole hand in.
yeah,
All right, sweet. Okay, I'm thinking now.
you can still hold things. It's only the pinky, so you still got a good grip. But
Okay, so that's what I was going for.
yeah, good
I'm
call.
like, definitely not swimming through that river anytime soon.
Hmm.
Who would be so
Good thinking.
foolish?
I don't know.
Do we notice Orpheus's hand at this point?
No, you guys don't notice. It's just like a small piece of the tip.
I'm just glad that it happened to me and none of you. I couldn't stand the thought.
Well, we best begin walking now. I'm
Yeah.
not sure we have too many other options at this point.
Yep.
Pretty much
Because
boat.
we could
jump,
have gotten
or
a
find
ride.
path.
So we're gonna keep walking and hopefully find a path, or if not, we're building a bridge or making a boat.
So there are two ways we can do this. I can fast track you guys through this, or it can be a skill challenge. One thing to note is your guys's long jump is your strength score in feet. So we have a variable distance of jumpers here. I think we have everything from 15 to 6 feet. And that's only if you get a 10-foot running start. If you do not get a 10-foot running start, it is half rounded down. So that takes us all the way from 3 to 7.
We probably have enough room for a run.
How far
Remember,
can Samson throw us?
that's a good question. I want to just add one more point first. Remember that the raft this guy was on was 10 feet wide.
How far away is he right now? Is he jumping distance?
He is no longer within jumping distance,
Fair enough.
as this whole endeavor has taken a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
Before we answer, or sort of as we're discussing, how much of a time crunch do we feel like we're on?
Bo didn't seem
wasn't too
concerned about
worried.
time.
Yeah. He said take the longer path because it's safer.
Yeah,
So he wasn't too concerned about time.
I would be happy to just get fast tracked through then.
So, in the interest of fast tracking, you guys take this situation very cautiously, especially after seeing Samson lose a pinky, and you decide that you're not going to do anything rash or swiftly. So, you guys spend quite a bit of time. Probably if time ran normally, it takes about 2 days, and you guys end up crossing this by means of either finding narrow passages along the river where you can jump it safely, or by crafting makeshift bridges out of stone where you're basically just trying to hack at it until pieces break off that are thick enough for you guys to then put over and make little rivers or make little bridges for you as you go by. So this takes quite a bit of time, but then by the end of everything, you find yourself at the what you assume is the base camp of Mount Blood. This whole time you've been slowly going uphill. It's ever so gradual. Not it's less steep than when you're coming out of the gorge, but it's still like a steady increase where you're noticing it as you're walking up. And you're at a nice spot here. You guys can choose to. You haven't really expended any spell slots, so you can long rest or not long rest. But I think this is a good stopping point. So
Just before we finish, you said base camp. Is there actually like a settlement, or is this just sort of at the bottom of like where the mountain really starts?
that's a good question, and I'm going to answer it next session. There probably will be something, or I will decide that I want you guys to start going up the mountain. So it's going to depend.
Perfect.
Yeah. I just noticed that we're like 1:45, so I wanted to stop it here before we start doing a whole other sequence of events.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're at Mount Blood.
Yes.
Yay!